This week I've been practicing exercise 15 from Taffanel Gaubert daily exercises, and I've come up with a lot of different ways to practice it, and I made a list. The first thing I did was photocopy the part because I like to be able to mark it up, and the way I usually do that is think about low, middle, and high register. I might work on just the low register up and down on both pages. The first thing I decided to do was decide which B flat and A sharp fingerings I'm going to use, and I've put an X over all those notes and chosen a fingering, and you can see what I'm doing here. This is a great etude for the thumb B flat because most of the time that is really the only choice, and you have to move on and off the B flat very quickly. So starting this out, it makes sense to start with your thumb B flat, your thumb on the B flat key. And right there is the part to practice. I try to take my thumb off the thumb key and onto the regular key during the F natural, or maybe right as I leave the F natural, because the F natural, I've got a little stabilization from this hand so that this hand can have less pressure on it. If you have a lot of weight, if you play with a lot of weight on your left hand, moving the thumb around those two keys is going to be difficult. So it's worth considering lightening up your left hand for that purpose. The next one is a lot easier because we have C natural and then D flat before and after the B flat, and that's the perfect place to move the thumb. I found a couple other places to mark to remind myself to put the thumb on or off. I find that very confusing in so many pieces of music, so this pattern gives me a great chance to practice. I'm going to show you from the other side. If you have questions about any of my fingering choices, you can ask me in the comments. There are lots of choices, so mine aren't necessarily right, but what I try to avoid is ever using this fingering for B flat when I'm coming from a G natural or a G sharp, and that is quite a limiting factor. Etc. I'm going to stay in the low register and descend from the fifth line. You get the idea. Now I might switch to the middle register on this broken pattern. It is really tricky, so I'm going to hear it in a whole new way by starting on the second note of the pattern. And then, of course, starting on the third note. I like the sound of that one. So we've just morphed this into 3 whole other exercises with what we're doing, and that'd be something good to do a little bit every day. Make your metronome marking go a little higher each time. Next, I decided I wanted to do some very slow practice on the high register. There's nothing that can beat slow practice, but while you're doing it, you can add some other elements, and the element I added was subdividing triplets with the metronome very slowly at 20. So this is what we're doing. I use the metronome at 60 per note just to get the speed. Then I switch to this very slow metronome beat. And that is a very, very good way to improve your rhythm, to get really accurate triplets with such a slow metronome. Now I'll use the metronome 1 beat per note again, but twice as fast, so we're making progress on the speed of the pattern. And again, I'll put on 20. And finally, I decided to add some triple tonguing and double tonguing, but also with 2 different beats so that I'm practicing duple against triple while I'm doing some pretty slow articulation, and I'm still moving my fingers slowly but progressively faster and faster. And now double tonguing at 60, but our note values are going more quickly. The metronome is 2 to our 3 pitch changes. Now without tonguing, that's also very good practice. And that's about it. Here's my list of the practice I did on this, and I hope it gives you some ideas. And please let me know if you try it and what you find most effective. Thanks so much for watching.